we know the next crisis is just around the corner. How ready are you? Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have another prepper pantry haul to share with you. From time to time, we like to share the latest additions that we've added to our prepper pantry and our prepper gear, and a little bit about why we stock each item. Today I have some really cool things to show you that I am super excited about, so please excuse my eyeball here. I know I look like I came straight out of the next zombie apocalypse, but I don't know what happened. I literally just woke up like this. So let's jump right in. The first thing I've got is these Bic lighters. Now these are the mini Bics, and I actually had a hard time finding these. I was surprised. Couldn't find them at Walmart or any place around me. So if you buy these mini Bics, let me know where you find them. These are not my favorite type of lighter to use. I prefer the type with the slightly longer tip just because they're easier, but there's something to be said for mini pieces of gear that you can fit anywhere. Because if you can fit more pieces of gear into a smaller space, you're more likely to have them with you, and nothing is going to do you any good if you don't have it with you when you need it. The next thing I found is this light bulb, and I thought this would be great for power outages and emergencies. I first saw people using these in their RVs where they didn't have electrical wiring, but I thought it would be great for power outages and emergencies. So this screws into a socket that a light bulb would screw into, like in your lamp or your light fixture, but it doesn't actually take electricity from there. It actually magnets right off of here so that if you need to take it down to charge, it's easy to get it off. So this would stay right in the socket. And then it has light. It turns on and it can change different colors and different brightnesses. It also has a remote control that you can use with it, but of course it also has a switch right on it. If you didn't have the remote controller, it was out of batteries. But it does, it looks on the video, I can see like it's flashing, but it's not flashing. That is a trick of the light frequencies. Next, I've got a couple of different food warmers here, and these are going to have multiple purposes. The first one is a Hot Logic, and the Hot Logic is a brand I'm very familiar with. This is like a soft-sided, almost like a lunch box. It's insulated inside really well, and it's got this heating plate in here, and so it's basically, they call this a portable oven. It does have an electrical cord. This one is actually a house plug cord. They do come with a car plug cord, and I'm actually planning on ordering one of those as well. Now this says that it uses really low amounts of power. Like it says that this heating surface actually uses only about as much power as a light bulb. So I'm thinking this would be a great option to plug into one of our power stations, our portable power stations, and use in a grid down emergency to heat food or to cook food. I've actually seen people cook food all the way, like even raw chicken, in this portable oven. And my friend Natasha at the Budget Preppers, I have seen her cook a whole meal in a jar, freeze-dried meal in a jar, family size, in her larger Hot Logic. So this could definitely be used in that way. But another reason that I'm getting this double duty is we're going to be doing a lot of traveling next month, but I'm hoping to bring this along and kind of set us up a little travel kitchen that's going to save us some time and save us some money while we're traveling. We like to be able to have other options besides eating out, so this is going to become part of that kit, and it will also be part of our emergency gear. This did come with this plastic like takeout container that I guess you can use to heat the food inside of. I probably won't use this for that purpose. I think the Dollar Tree might sell a disposable aluminum pan that's about this right size, and I'm also looking at some collapsible silicone dishes that might fit right in here that would be a little bit more safe for cooking in. I think glass could be a great option, but for traveling I'm not going to want to bring a big heavy glass dish, but I think they make glass Pyrex dishes that would fit perfectly inside of here. And of course it also comes with a guide, and then there's some recipes in here as well. And you can see this brand comes in a lot of different colors and a lot of different sizes. So I'm definitely going to be looking at getting at least one more with the car plug. The other food warmer I got is this one. So this is a similar idea. This is different in a few ways. Well, number one, this one's round and this one's rectangular. I prefer the rectangular for packing and things like that because it's going to be a better use of space. Also, this is soft and can collapse. This one, like I mentioned, this is round. It does fit 32 ounces, so it fits a quart, which is about 4 cups. This lid comes off. It has this lid inside with a little vent. And this one is a little different than this one in a couple ways. You can put your food right inside of this. This little metal part will come out to wash and clean. So you can put your food right inside of here. This one already comes with 2 cords. This one comes with the car power cord or the house power cord. So that's kind of one of the cool things about this. I think this one is probably going to hold a little bit less than this. I'm not sure if this is one that we would take on a trip or not. I'm probably going to test them both out before we go and decide. I do like that this one came in lots of different colors as well. So some key differences between this. This is a strange brand from China that I've never heard of. This is a brand that I am familiar with and I trust. Like I mentioned, this one is round, this one is rectangular, this one has both plugs, and this one only has the one plug. I think this one is also a little bit heavier than this one, but I will be adding an extra dish to this one, whereas I wouldn't have to for this one, so it might be about even. Next I have this. It came as a 4-pack. There's 4 different colors. This is a set of mini medicine containers. They're all the same, all 4 of these, except different colors. They open up just like this, and then they have all of these little compartments inside. They've got 10 compartments for basically medications, like pills, like Tylenols and things like that. But you could really put anything in there if you had something very small to organize and store. I like these because, like I mentioned, I like having things with me. So I like having an assortment of medicines in little travel first aid kits, in bug out bags and things like that. So I have a lot of different medicine containers like this. This one did come with some plain labels. I don't have them up here. You might remember the kit I got recently that was very similar to this, but it came with the actual medicine picture labels. I really like that a lot, but this was a great deal for these 4, and that set that I had with the fancy labels came with a lot of extra labels, so I'll probably be able to use some of those on these containers. Next, I've got a couple of cans of Keystone beef. These are the smaller cans, the 14.5 ounce, so that's about the typical size of like a vegetable can. Keystone Meats are really, really awesome. I love them. If any of you follow my Prepping Deals and Steals group on Facebook or my Meals in a Jar group, I did post some really awesome deals that Walmart was having on Keystone Meats recently. And of course I snagged some as well. They haven't all arrived, but these 2 cans arrived. But the only thing is, I actually thought I was ordering ground beef on this one. I didn't read carefully enough. I'm doing that more and more these days. I think it's a combination between my eyesight not being that great and always being in a hurry. Because I do love this beef, but I usually order this in the large cans always. And the ground beef I order in both sizes because I do have a recipe that very particularly uses this size can of the ground beef. So it's not that we won't use these, but it's just that I actually had intended to order ground beef here. But that's okay. Here's just a little case. This is actually meant for your key fob for your vehicle, which I don't think I've ever felt like I needed to keep my key fob in a case like this. But I just thought this little case was neat and could be useful for a lot of different things. It has 2 small pockets. One has this window and one does not. And of course it has several different ways to attach it to your keychain, your backpack, your purse, whatever it may be. Like I mentioned, I like putting together small little kits with small pieces of gear or everyday carry type of essentials, because then you know you're always going to have what you need on you. So I thought this would be a cute case for something. I'm not sure what yet, but I think that this will be good for keeping some little items in. Next thing I've got here is this Saline Rinse. So these are individual size single-use saline rinse. So this would be for like injuries and wounds if you needed to clean a deep wound, for instance, to irrigate a wound, to irrigate, maybe to rinse. It could be used as like an eye rinse. So you can see these are connected together, but these are 4 individual and they're pretty good size amounts of liquid. I read good reviews on these. I've had my eye on these for a really long time and they just had gone on sale for a few dollars off, so I grabbed them. I thought these would be great for keeping in first aid kits that we have on the go where we might need smaller amounts, and maybe keeping this inside of my trauma kit and things like that. So that is why I grabbed these. And next I found these. These are actually emergency water bags. So I got these because you can see they're very, very compact. They take up almost no space at all. They're a plastic bag. They are meant for holding water. They do stand up. They have like the bottom so that they will stand up. If you saw my mini EDC kit that I put together a couple of weeks ago, I included a produce bag folded up really small because it took up almost no space at all and it would hold water. So I used that as a water carrying device. I also found these would take up a little bit more space and they wouldn't fold down as compactly because this is like a twisty tie type of thing on the top. But I thought where these were actually meant for holding water, these would be great to tuck into a lot of places. You could keep these in your vehicle. You could tuck them in your bug out bag, anywhere that you wanted to have an extra water container, or you weren't sure you would always have a water container, these take up almost no space at all, and that's what they're meant for. Next, I got this set with these teeny weeny little shakers. They're pocket shakers of Redmond's Real Salt. We know that is the best salt out there. And like I mentioned, we're going to be traveling, and I thought it would be neat to be able to take some of this salt with us and have this on hand. But you can see just how tiny and cute this little shaker is. And this seasoning right here, I just kind of stumbled across on Amazon, and I wanted to give it a try because it's like a chili verde seasoning mix. It says this is for tacos, but I actually have plans to use this in a different way to get that kind of chili verde flavor in meals in a jar, for instance. It's got a lot of those types of ingredients. It's got jalapeno peppers, hatch chili peppers, green bell peppers, and lots of different things like that. And I opened this up when it came and I smelled it, and it smells amazing. It smells perfect, just like the flavor profile that I'm hoping to get out of it. So I'm hoping that this will be an ingredient I can use a lot. The only thing that concerns me is because it's meant to be a taco seasoning and a rub, it's pretty high in salt. You can see that's the first ingredient. And I don't want to put a lot of extra salt flavor in there. I'm hoping for more of the chili pepper type of flavor, but we'll see how it works. Next, I got a 6-pack of these Miracle Noodle Keto Meal Packs. Now they're shelf stable, but they don't need any water. They're already ready to eat as they are. You just heat them up. So they're kind of meant for the microwave, but you can also use them on a stovetop, an emergency stove, if you were in a power outage emergency. So if you eat low carb or keto or anything like that, which I do try to eat low carb most of the time, it can be hard to find prepper pantry foods that are fit into a low carb and keto diet, and we get a lot of requests for things like that. And so I'm always trying new things. I have tried these Miracle Noodle meals. This is a complete meal. It's not just the noodles, so it has the sauce and flavorings and everything else in it. I've tried the pad thai version that they have at my Walmart, and I've really liked it. And I've seen all the other flavors they have, and I've never found them. So I found this on Amazon, and it was on sale for the 6-pack, so I thought I would grab it and try it. These have a shelf life of about a year to 2 years. Of course, they're going to last a little bit longer than the date on them, but this is definitely something that you can keep on hand as long as you rotate it, which I will be doing. I will be using these. It was a better deal on the 6-pack, so I am hoping I like these, or else I'm going to have a lot of something I don't enjoy to finish up. And then back here is a little mini solar panel. Now, if any of you are on my Deals and Steals, my Prepping Deals and Steals Facebook group, I also posted about this because it was 50% off, so it was a really good deal. And it got pretty good reviews. I like to have small portable solar panels like this, whether it's for traveling or for just having in my bug out bag, something that if you really, really needed to have a little bit of power generation, you'd have something. So this one zips, and it's just these 2 panels. I have some other ones that fold up and they have more panels, but this is just the 2 panels. It zips up, has this little pouch on the back for the cords, cables, and it does have these carabiner clips so that you could hang this if you wanted to hang it from your backpack while you were hiking, or if you wanted to hang it from someplace that you were camping or something like that. It's important to note that these kind of solar chargers, they don't actually have a battery built in, so you're not charging this up like a power pack and then charging something out of it. You have to have the device plugged in while the solar panel is out in the sun. So the energy is going to go directly from the solar panel directly into the battery of your device. There's not an interim battery to store the power. But it does have these kind of molly type of straps out here that you could attach it to things, attach things to it. I'm really excited to try this out. I don't have it right in front of me, but I will put on the screen how many watts this is so that you know. And I'll also have a link to this down in the description box below the video in case you want to go check it out yourself, look at the specs, read the reviews, and all of that. I usually have links to everything that I show in the description box below the video, so you can always go look at that. And then back here I have a bunch of white vinegar. So I've got 2 cases, 2 gallons a piece of white vinegar. This is from Sam's Club, which has been where I found the best price on this now. It's still $3 a bottle there, as opposed to Walmart where the price has gone up quite a bit. But we go through quite a bit of white vinegar, and especially at this time of the year, because we use it in our laundry quite a bit. But at this time of the year, we're also doing pickles and relish and things like that that use vinegar by the cup. So we go through a lot of it, so I need to stay stocked up. It's a great item to have in your prepper pantry because it's a forever food. Yes, it's got an expiration date on there, but it's really not going to expire or go bad. It's going to last forever. You can use it for cleaning, and you can also use it for preserving food, which if you find yourself in a situation that could become very important. Next, I've got some freeze-dried food that I picked up from what's on sale this month. We all know grocery prices are out of control, so we need to save money any way we can. Freeze-dried food is the most desirable food for any prepper, and that's mainly because it has an exceptionally long shelf life, 25 years, and because it also has the most nutrition of any food that you can store. That's why you see so many people stockpiling freeze-dried food. I got some pulled pork. This is absolutely delicious stuff. Freeze-dried meats are a whole different world from canned meats. Try them and you will see. I also got some scrambled egg powder. This is a must-have item for sure in our prepper pantry, and it should be in everybody's because eggs are such a staple ingredient and a staple food. And they're also incredibly nutritious. They're full of protein, which is very important in our preps. So for us personally, even though we do have ducks and chickens, we still store and use these powdered eggs. It's really great to be self-sufficient. That should be a goal for everybody, like with having ducks and chickens, raising your own food. But in a long-term survival situation, that's not something that you can count on, because unless you can keep your birds in the house with you, you can't depend on it to always be there. Even if it's not a real SHTF situation, but just an economic crisis that's ongoing, when there's desperate people walking around and stray dogs that aren't being fed and so many different things out there, there's a lot of different things that could happen. So in this case, literally don't put all your eggs in that one basket. That is a huge mistake. So always have backups, multiple options for everything. I also got some sour cream powder. This is something that I use in a lot of recipes, a lot of dishes, a lot of my meals in a jar. Anywhere that you need that creaminess factor when you don't have fresh sour cream or fresh cream, this is an awesome ingredient. And back here, I've got a fruit and veggie pack. You can see I've got 2 cans of the Fuji apples. I've got a can of pineapple, and there's a can of chopped onion. So each of these items is on sale on its own, but if you buy this 4-pack, you get an even better deal. So that's what I did. So this pack has the apples, the pineapple, and the onions. I always need to have those onions because onions are such a basic ingredient in so many dishes, just like eggs. I do use these in a ton of meals in a jar, emergency meals that I make, and honestly, just about everything that I cook, I use these. I used to chop up onions and put them in so many dishes, and it got to the point that I just never had time or wanted to bother with chopping up an onion, so I started leaving it out of all of my dishes, and eventually I realized I could just start using this, and it was so easy to just toss in like a scoop of the chopped onion, because that's one thing that's also great about freeze-dried food that I forgot to mention, is that it's also shelf stable once the can's open for about a year. So once you open these big cans, you still have about a year to use it up, and it can just sit right on your shelf. And that's really great, especially in emergency situations, because if you have something like canned meat or canned vegetables, traditional canned, and you open that can, you've got to use up that whole can if you don't have refrigeration. So sometimes that's just not practical, especially for smaller families, single people, or couples. So that is one more reason why so many people love freeze-dried food. It's perfect for any situation where you are without refrigeration. And we get all of our freeze-dried food from Thrive Life because they are the best in the business by a long shot. There is no preservatives in this food. There's no GMOs, no bioengineered ingredients. They really are the best out there. And they just happen to be having a huge sale starting in just 2 days. If you are watching this video the day it comes out on Sunday, this huge sale is going to start Tuesday, August 20th. Discounts up to 50%. That is insane. Everything is while supplies last, so you're going to want to check it out early. We have a sale alert system that people have been loving because you're not going to miss out. You can get in on that by texting alert to my number down at the bottom of your screen. I'll put it down there. I'll also put it down below the video. If you've already been using our system for a while, you may or may not know that it's gotten so popular that we had to upgrade to a bigger and better system. So you can still text me on the other number, but to get the best and fastest service for sales, you should still text alert to the new number. Another thing you can do that's worked well for a lot of people is go to our website, register for an account ahead of time, and be ready when the sale goes live. Just make sure that you see my name and my picture at the top of the screen so that you know you're in the right place and you're going to get the best price. And one more thing you can do if you want the absolute best selection and the lowest price you can possibly get is you can do what we did and join as a consultant. That way, not only will you get to shop these big sales a day early, you would also get free credit back on your own orders, every order, even on top of those sale prices. I cannot even tell you how incredible that is. So you can text me for all the info on that as well, or just check out the link below. And now moving on, I've got some supplements here. Zinc, Moringa, and this is just my Super C. So the zinc is actually not really for humans, although I've actually was looking at all the benefits of what it's good for, and I was thinking maybe I would start taking it. But I got the zinc because I see how a lot of people are putting it into their canned green beans to keep the green color. And I thought I might try that. So far, all I've canned this year has been yellow wax beans, so I haven't used it. Haven't had a chance to try it, but there is a little bit of controversy because I've read a lot about it, and some people will just say that you could be putting too much zinc into your body because just like anything else, too much of a good thing is not good. So I'll probably do a little bit of research, and I'm not sure about this because honestly, like my family doesn't mind the way that canned green beans are. They kind of like the soft, mushy, little bit discolored canned green beans. We actually like that. So, but that's why I got this, but it could also be a supplement for the humans, but I got it for food preservation purposes. This is Moringa, which this is a supplement which has so many health benefits. I mean, it's anti-inflammatory. It has quercetin in it, or quercetin. I can't even tell you all the benefits this has, so I will put a graphic up on the screen. This was just something that I haven't really taken before, except I do think it might be in one of my Ruby smoothie packets that I take, but I haven't really taken it as a supplement before. So I thought I would try it, and if this seems to do something good for us, then we'll probably stockpile a lot more, because I think supplements, vitamins, like all that nutritional stuff can be really important. And then the Super C is just one that we always have on hand and we always take, and so I'm always replenishing this, trying to keep an extra supply. This is just an immunity supplement, so it's vitamin C with D3 and zinc. And here I have a few small lights. You can kind of see the theme. A lot of the things that I've got in this haul are micro, small, mini things, because I just discovered a lot of really cool things when I was putting together my mini EDC kit. And some of them, you know, weren't what I put in my kit, but I ended up getting different things anyways to try because I could always put them in other kits or my purse or bug out bags, places like that. So first right here, these are a couple of flashlights. A lot of these are flashlights. This is a super tiny mini one. I mean, this is it. You can see the size of it. It's like 1 digit of my finger. It's like an inch. It's super teeny. Takes little teeny button cell batteries, which they did give me extras of. It came with the batteries and it came with extras. It has twist to turn on, and it is a pretty decent light. It does have a little thing for hanging, so you could put this on a keychain or anything like that. So this is the smallest light probably that I found. This is another one I found. This one is called Lumen Top, I think is the brand, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So this is another twist to turn on. This one took a AAA battery. It takes one AAA battery. It did not come with the battery, I don't think. It also has a spot to hang something on, and it does come with a little clip. And this is the lumen top part. So this can go on it like that, and so that you can stand it and it can diffuse the light and be more like a candle or an area light. And the really cool thing that I did not realize about this is when you turn it off and take this off, I don't know if you'll be able to see it right now, that top glows in the dark. So it's made out of luminescent material, and it charges up from this light, and then it continues to glow after you turn the light off. And these flashlights did both come with some extra O-rings here because they are waterproof or watertight, and it comes with some extra of that in case you lose them. Another set of lights that I got, these, I love these actually. I actually have one of these already, but I saw an amazing sale price on these. I think I did share this in my prepping deals and steals group, so maybe some of you saw that. I really like these for a lot of reasons. They're really bright. They are rechargeable. They are magnetic. They have a magnet. They have a like a carabiner type of clip here, so you can hang them on something. And what I have done with the one that I have is hung it right on my purse, on the like ring of my purse strap where it attaches to the purse itself. Because if I need to, I can just turn this on really easily. It is super bright, and it has different brightnesses and flashing. I can turn this on super easily, and the way it's hanging, it will be shining ahead of me. And I have kept one of these on my purse ever since. It was several years ago, and it was Christmas Eve, and I was out finishing up my Christmas shopping, and we were having a big storm, and I had just finished checking out at Kohl's, and the power went out. And when I had just checked out, I was not far from the front doors, and I just had to make my way out the doors and out to my car in the dark. And so I was thankful for the flashlight that I had in my purse, but at the same time, I was like, it would have been much handier if it was hanging right on the outside and I could just reach down and just push a button and have the light shining right ahead of me. And then another set of lights, and this one is really similar to those that I just showed you, but they're just a little bit different. So you can see that it also has the type of clip, so you can clip it onto something. It has this light here, which is similar to the other ones, but it also has lights here that aim in a different direction. So turn this on. I've got some light down here and some light up here. This is brighter. Now I've got the light on the front, more like a lantern, and that can get brighter. It's got a red light, and it's got a flashing red light. You could hang this on the back of your backpack if you had to walk down the road or something and you needed to have like an emergency flasher on yourself or something like that. Lots of different things that you could use this for. This one is also rechargeable, and it's also magnetic. So you could stick it onto your car if you're working on your car. You could stick it onto anywhere you needed to stick the light, hang it with this. I did forget to mention, with these, they also have a bottle opener on the side of the thing. That's another kind of cool thing, especially if you have it hanging on your purse. You never know when you might need a bottle opener. And then one other thing that I got that I thought was really cool was these super mini glow sticks. These are so tiny. They do work just like a regular glow stick. I grabbed these. I put one in my, or maybe I put more than one in my mini EDC kit. They're not really big enough to really use for a lot of light, but if you had a handful of these, you could use them maybe to mark a path or to mark something out in the dark if it was pitch black and no electricity. Lots of different things that you could do with these. I just love that they're super tiny, so you literally could put them anywhere. And next I got some freeze-dried emergency meals. Once again, these are freeze-dried, so they have all the same benefits, shelf life, nutrition, all of that. But instead of being single ingredients, these are actually complete meals that you would just add boiling water to and let them set for a little bit, and then they'd be ready to eat. Well, this one, obviously, you wouldn't add boiling water because this is a granola with milk, so this is one you would actually add cold water to. This is a breakfast one. These do have a 20-year shelf life, which is important because we do store these for emergency preparedness. We can use these power outages. These are great because they're not single serving pouches. They all have 3 servings, but they're easy to put into a bug out bagger to keep in your vehicle. They're lightweight and they are like not susceptible to heat and cold very much. So they're great for that kind of thing. But another thing that we use these for is travel. Like I mentioned, we're going to be traveling soon. So we like to bring these in our suitcase because if we're going to be on the road for a while, we don't necessarily want to have to eat out every single meal because that's going to take up a lot of time and it's going to cost a lot of money. So we bring meals like this so that we can cut down on that. And it works really, really well. But in general, if you're looking at these for emergency preparedness purposes, you want to keep an eye on the shelf life because some of the meals are really made more for backpackers and backpacking, and they don't necessarily have a really long shelf life. They're more made for lightweight and calories for people who are backpacking. But these also have the shelf life. And all of these are 3 servings, whereas most of the meals that you can get out there commercially like this, most of them are 1 to 2 servings. And a 2-serving meal is probably still only going to serve 1 person. These, even though they say 3 servings, we could finish one by ourselves with Mr. Wicked Prepared and I. People with smaller appetites could make 3 meals out of these, but these definitely have more food in them than most of the other brands of meals. And the price is comparable or even better, especially when you consider the number of servings. But so I grabbed chicken teriyaki with rice, which we really like. I got the breakfast one, the granola, the creamy mashed potato bowl. This is a favorite of a lot of people. It's really good as long as you consider the fact that it's not going to be all layered like that, because obviously the ingredients are all in the bag and they're getting mixed up, and then you're going to put in the water and mix them up. So it's going to be like you took that and mixed it up, but it's super tasty. And then there's another breakfast one, a breakfast skillet, eggs, sausage, potatoes, and things like that. When I do meals like that, I like to use a lunch box, like an insulated lunch box, the really simple type that's just like a rectangle. And it's perfect too. You put the hot water into the meals and then put the meals inside of this, zip it up and let it set. And it's going to stay warmer while it's getting ready to be eaten. And it's also going to do a better job of softening everything up, I find. That's my opinion anyways, than if you just had it out. So a lot of backpackers use something like this too, like some sort of a koozie to put the meal in to keep the heat in. You can use the super cheap lunch boxes that they sell at back to school time at Walmart, but our store doesn't have those all the time. So I buy these is something they have in their normal everyday line. And I can actually fit about 3 of these meals into this bag. So if we are traveling, I can pack them right inside the bag so it doesn't take up a lot of extra space. I also made a gift for my daughter when I made her sort of a little sort of 72-hour emergency kit to get her started, and I put a bunch of meals like that into one of these lunch boxes so that she would have that. And just as a side note, a bunch of these same meals are also going to be on sale on Tuesday, on the sale that I was just mentioning. And so if you want to stock up on something like this, that's going to be a great time to do it. Over here, I do have, this is an emergency blanket. It's one of the Mylar sort of foil emergency blankets. I did buy a pack of, I think this came in a pack of 6 or 4. I just took this one out and put it up here, and I put the rest of them away. But these are important to have for a lot of things because they take up almost no space. They have about no weight, and they can be really valuable. They're not going to like keep you warm and cozy necessarily or be comfortable if you are trying to stay warm with them, but they will keep you from freezing to death. They can be useful in first aid kits, first aid situations, shock and things like that. So we use these in a lot of different kits because they're easy to just stash in there and have without taking up much space or weight. So I was just grabbed a restock of these. This is a little teeny Swiss Army knife. Like I did mention, I have been looking at all sorts of things that are teeny tiny and miniatures. So this is super tiny. You can see it's shorter than my index finger. It's shorter than my ring finger. It's about as long as my pinky, honestly. And it's super cute. It's got just a couple of tools on it, but it could be just the right thing to have on you. It does have a ring to hold. It has a small knife blade. It has one that is a file and also a screwdriver. And then of course it has, on the other side, it has scissors, which actually for the size that they are, they work really well as scissors. You would take a long time to get across your paper. But they would be perfect for snipping little threads or, you know, anything like that that you had. And of course it also has the tools that they always have, a toothpick and a tweezer. This is just a flat tip tweezer, but it could be useful for certain things. But they also have things that you can replace these two with, like fire starter rods and things like that you can replace these little things with, which is awesome. Waterproof matches, that's pretty simple. Don't really need to explain that. Waterproof matches, these come, it's 4 boxes, and the waterproof matches themselves are not very big. They're about the size of regular matches. This is a really good brand. They also have stormproof matches, and the stormproof matches are bigger and sort of bulkier, but these are just the waterproof. It's important to have many multiple ways to light a fire on you at all times, and matches is just one way. The lighters that I showed earlier is another way. There's lots of different ways to light a fire. Always have multiple ways to do everything. Now here I've got, these are actually 4 phone chargers. When I did my mini EDC kit, I threw in one of these Batterix single-use phone chargers. So this is a phone charger. It comes already charged up. It's super tiny. It's barely bigger than a credit card, but it is single-use. So you use it once, you throw it away. It could be great to have on you. It could really be a lifesaver in an emergency. And like I mentioned, having things that are super tiny might mean the difference between you having it with you and not having it with you. Also, the fact that you don't have to charge this up, because if you're like me, you might take something out of your bag, plug it in to charge it, and then forget to put it back. So I do like these, but I was looking to see if I could find something very comparable that was not single use. So I bought several things here to try, and some of these were on sale at the time that I bought them. Trying to be careful to keep these in the right order with the right boxes, because depending on what I decide about these, I may or may not keep them all. So some of these may be going back. So here is all of them. These 2 are the same, except one is for iPhone and one is for Android phone. And I got that because I think one of them was on a really incredible sale that I couldn't pass up. And between the kids and I and Mr. Wicked Prepared, we have both types of phones. So these are both 2,500 milliamp hours. Like I said, one is for iPhone, one is for the other kind of phone. They're exactly the same size. This is 3,500 milliamp hours. So it's a little bit bigger capacity than these. It's also a little bit bigger in size, obviously, to get that bigger capacity. And then this one is a 5,000 milliamp hours. So once again, you're adding size to get the bigger capacity. This is getting closer to the size probably of an iPhone, not fully, but. And then one thing that I do love about all of these chargers is that they do have the built-in cable for plugging into the phone to charge it, because that is one thing that I do not like carrying around is loose cables, because there's just no way to organize them well. I've had retractable ones. They don't work very well. I like it when the cables are built in. My favorite chargers have a built-in electrical plug also, so that you don't even have to use a cable for charging them. I have never seen one as small as these, but I did just find one that is 5,000. The one I usually use is 10,000 milliamp hours, and it's considerably bigger than this. I mean, it's not huge, but actually here is one right here. So you can see, so it's twice the capacity of this one, but it's considerably bigger. But what I do love about this, it has both types of cables built in, or 3 types of cables actually, for all 3 types of phone charging you could have to do. And it has this built in. So it's really the only thing that you need. So these just don't have the electrical plug part. So you can see that none of these is quite as small as the Batterix. Even so, the Batterix though has 1600 milliamp hours. The smallest one of these has 2500. That just has to do with basically how much power it's going to give your phone. So this is it's not going to charge my phone all the way. It would give it enough charge to get me by, or to let me make an emergency call, or let me, you know, find out something I needed to know. This is a little less than 1/5 of the capacity of this big one. It's smaller than all of these in capacity, but it's also smaller in size. So that's something to take into consideration if you're looking for something like this. I still think there's value in the single use because it is so small, but these are equally probably pretty good, and especially these right here, which are almost as small as this one, and you could definitely slide one of these in your wallet. And not only are you going to get more capacity than with the Batterix and the single, you're also going to be able to recharge it multiple times and not just use it once and throw it away. So those were just some things that I was checking out. And like I said, I'm not sure if I will keep all of these, but I mean, between all the members of my family, we all have phones, and your phone is one of your most important pieces of EDC. It's a tool that you always have on you that we all really kind of depend upon. And it can actually be an important tool. I know we think of it as a negative thing that's going to distract us from things with games and social media, but it also has communication and navigation, and I mean, everything that we could possibly need is on our phone. So it is definitely important to be able to keep your devices charged up. And you could use these to charge any device that had the same input. You know, most of these are USB-C, because that's what I use for a phone. So these could also be used to charge a flashlight or anything that used that type of charging output. And these did all come with a short charging cable, because like I said, they would have to be plugged into the wall with a cable because they don't have their own plug. And then I got this. Now this is just another little case that I saw, and I thought it was super cute, and I thought this would be really nice for maybe like a small first aid kit, or holding some EDC items, or something like that. Any kind of small preparedness items, a small kit. It's not a super small box. It's a lot bigger than the one that I did my mini EDC kit in. But I love different bags and different containers for gathering different type of equipment or supplies or items. So I just got this, and it did come in a lot of different colors, and I'll see if I do use it for something. And if I do, I could get some more, but it could be handy having the see-through part of the pouch. And maybe I'll just use it for travel toiletries, who knows, but I might use it for some kind of a preparedness kit. And then behind here, I've got a few things. This right here is from Amazon. And what this is a bunch of produce bags. They are reusable produce bags, but what I got these for, I think they're actually meant for shopping. So they have several different sizes. Some of these are this solid material, like a muslin almost. And then some of them are this more open weave meshy material. And what I got these for was not for shopping for produce, but I have been making a lot of zucchini relish because we're getting a lot of zucchini out of the garden, and that's one of our favorite things that we use so much of during the year that we usually run out. So I've been making a ton. And of course, if you've ever made relish, it's probably the same on all the recipes. You soak the veggies, the chopped veggies, and then you have to squeeze out a lot of the moisture. I absolutely despise squeezing the moisture out of anything. That is like one of my least favorite kitchen chores. I hate it. So I actually tried putting my chopped relish veggies, I drain them out of their saltwater soak, and then I put them in my salad spinner. And of course, I didn't want the little bits to go through the holes in the salad spinner. So I was using like a kind of a kitchen towel, a no-lint kitchen towel, and it was just kind of difficult to keep it all inside the salad spinner properly. And so I thought I could use some sort of a bag that was food safe. And so this is what I ended up getting, and it works great. I've been using the meshy ones. I thought I would use the other ones, but the meshy ones ended up working great. The holes are not too small, not too big for the way that I chop my veggies for my relish. I know some people shred their veggies. I prefer to chop them really fine. So I've been using these for that, and I put the veggies right in here, put it into my salad spinner and let it spin, and they come out even a lot drier than they do when I do squeeze it by hand. So, and I also actually got a new salad spinner once I started doing that, and I found that it was working, because the salad spinner that I have is super old and it doesn't work very well, and it has a handle that you have to spin around in circles, and it was really kind of difficult for me. So I figured after all those years of having that same old salad spinner, I probably deserved a new one. So I got this one, which has the pump top where you just pump it up and down, and it's so much easier than having to spin that little thing around in a circle. So I'm super excited about this. The only thing different is that this one is all solid on the bottom. So my other one had holes on the bottom of the outer dish, and so I could run the water right through. It has a hole in the top and holes in the bottom. So I could have the water running through and spin it, and so it would wash and drain at the same time. This one doesn't have holes in the bottom of the outer bowl, because you can actually use that outer clear bowl for serving a salad in. So that's the only thing. It's nice that you can use that bowl for serving salad. I do miss the feature of being able to run the water right through the whole thing and kind of wash the greens or veggies or whatever as I was spinning it. But I do like the salad spinner the way it's working so far. For my relish purposes, it's been great. And then back here, I've got a couple of things from Azure Standard. I am so super excited about this, and all of my canning people are probably going to be super excited also. Azure Standard came out with their own brand of canning jars pretty recently, within the last year, I think, and they just now came out with, this is a 1.5 pint size. I was so excited because those are a really, one of my favorite jars that Ball used to make, and they've stopped making them again. I stocked up on them like crazy a couple of years ago. Actually, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago now when they were still available, and I haven't seen them since. And even though I still have quite a few that I haven't used, I was just kind of antsy about it. So when I saw that Azure Standard came out with these, I was so excited. So what they're like is, they are basically like a wide mouth pint jar, except taller, because they have that extra 1/2 pint added. So this is a Ball jar. This is the regular pint, and this is the 1.5 pints. So you can see how it's just a little bit bigger. It's also wide mouth. It's a straight sided jar, so it's freezer safe. A lot of people like these for doing things like canned asparagus or pickled asparagus, where you want a whole tall thing. I have found sometimes these are good for meatloaf, if you do can meatloaf, which is, I think, a Rebel canning thing. But if you do can meatloaf, you want a straight-sided jar, because that's how you can slide the meatloaf out in one chunk. So people usually use a jar like this. Well, if you want more meatloaf for a bigger family, then this is a perfect jar as well. When Azure Standard first came out with their jars, I didn't try them right away because they looked like they were a little bit more expensive than the Ball jars at Walmart. So I don't know if Azure has dropped their price or Walmart has raised the price on the Ball jars. But now the Azure Standard jars tend to be cheaper than the Ball jars, which is amazing. Another couple things that I love about the Azure Standard jars. Number one, they actually come with superb lids. These are really, really great lids. These are like the lids that you can get at the Amish stores. They're really, really great, good quality lids. You can kind of see how thick they are. Most people have had no troubles with these sealing. And for these to come with these lids is amazing. But if you have a ton of lids already, you can also buy all of the Azure Standard jars without lids and without bands, and it's cheaper that way. So depending on what you need, I did the math because I have a lot of lids, and I have bought these superb lids from Azure in, by the sleeve, bought them in bulk. And I did the math, and each lid is cheaper buying it with the case of jars, at least on the sizes I checked, than it is buying the big bulk case of lids by themselves. So it's worth it for me to get some extra lids by buying the jars with the lids. But you have both options. Another thing that I love about the Azure Standard jars is that the printing here is, Balls is raised, and that's always bothered me because I like to put labels on the fronts of my jars, and that disrupts that. When Ball had them available, I was buying the smooth jars whenever I could. They said Ball really small down here and the rest of the jar was smooth, but I haven't been able to find those in a few years, kind of like their 1.5 pint jars. But Azure Standard's printing on the front here is sunk into the jar rather than raised out. So it's better for applying labels, which I love. And I think their printing is pretty nice too. I mean, we all like the Ball. It has the old-fashioned sort of feel to it, that retro feel that we love, but Azure has a really nice looking design as well. So needless to say, I was super duper excited to find these, and so were a lot of other people. And I've switched to buying a lot of my jars from Azure because, like I said, the prices are great, the lids are great, the jar quality is great, and all of those other things that I mentioned. And another item that I grabbed from Azure Standard this time is this mushroom popcorn. Now, it's not made from mushrooms and it doesn't taste like mushrooms. It actually is just supposed to be kernels that pop like the best, with all the really puffy like popcorn top, like a mushroom top. So that's why they call it mushroom popcorn. Now, Azure Standard is another store that's kind of like Thrive Life. They are impeccable for quality and clean food. They do not allow any genetically modified products in what they sell. They don't allow any artificial colors and things like that. So if you want good quality, clean food, and you are concerned about what they're putting in the food these days and what you are putting in your body, those are two amazing places to shop, is Thrive Life and Azure Standard. I also had ordered a 50-pound bag of regular popcorn from them, but it was out of stock, and so it did not ship. It was a really great price, so I'm still hoping to get it pretty soon. They grow a lot of their own stuff, or they get it from farmers around where they are, so I'm not sure if it's just already sold out for this season or they haven't harvested. So, I mean, I could contact them and ask. They're really good about stuff like that, but I just haven't bothered. I just keep it in my order and hopefully I will get it soon. Because popcorn is a really great thing to have in your prepper pantry. It stores for a pretty long time. It makes a good snack that you can cook over, you know, anything. You can cook it in a pan on an emergency stove. You could cook it over a wood fire. And you can also grind popcorn and make cornmeal out of it. So that's another thing that you can do with it. And all popcorn in the United States is non-GMO, which is funny because corn is one of the most highly genetically modified crops in the United States, but popcorn is not. No popcorn sold in the United States is genetically modified. So that's sort of an interesting fact, I thought. But Azure Standard is a great place to go for your prepper pantry because they've got all sorts of things. They have grains like that. I get my whole wheat there. You can get things in 50-pound bags, or you can get them in smaller bags like I did with that popcorn. Food preservation supplies, that's obviously really important for prepper pantry too, to be able to preserve your food even if you're not a canner. Of course, we use canning jars for meals in a jar, which are a great preparedness item, easy emergency meals. And you can also store your dry goods in canning jars like these. They're very airtight and they're impervious to things like rodents, and bugs cannot get into them like they can get into a lot of other things, including Mylar bags. Bugs can't get into Mylar, but rodents certainly can. So over here, a few more things. This is an immersion heater. This is more for travel and for our travel preparedness than it is for emergency preparedness, although I'll have to see how much power this uses. Try plugging it into one of our power stations. I already have an immersion heater kind of like this, basically like this, but this one actually comes with an extra safety feature, which is this little plastic clip that can go over the coils so that they can't touch the vessel that you have it in, because these just drop down into a cup or pot or bowl and heat the water just like that. This metal coil heats the water. So they're safe to use in like a ceramic coffee mug or a metal pan or a silicone cup if it's, you know, heat resistant to that temperature. But you want to be careful that it's not touching the sides of your container too much. So that's why I kind of got an upgrade to this version that has that extra feature. And then I've got, this was a 4-pack of Suave. It's shampoo plus conditioner, but I really just got it for the shampoo part because we never really use just a combo shampoo conditioner and not a conditioner afterwards. So this was a good deal. And this was from Amazon, and you want to make sure you have plenty of stockpile of all your personal care items, personal hygiene, things like that. If there is a long-term emergency or a short-term emergency and you cannot get to the store, you're going to still want to be able to be clean and sanitary. But you also have to think about supply chain issues. That is something we've dealt with a lot in the last few years and probably something we'll continue to deal with in the future. So it may just be a matter of not being able to get what you need. Maybe you have power and you have all of that stuff, but you can't get your basic necessities. So we keep a good stockpile of things like this. And this was a really good deal. They have a pretty decent deal on these 4-packs, and then they were having extra coupons on top of it that you could clip. And so I got these for a really good price. And then this Kinder's Fajita Blend seasoning. We love fajitas, and I've been using fajita seasoning packets from Save-A-Lot for years, and I had tons of them because I stock up on things. But like everybody should, we eat what we store and store what we eat. So we have been eating through those packets, and the last couple times I've gone to replace them, they don't have it at my Save-A-Lot. I don't know if they discontinued it or we just don't have it at our store, but I tried Great Value fajita packets and they were okay, but not as good as the ones we're used to. So I'm kind of on a crusade to try a bunch of different fajita seasonings. And seasonings are important to have in your prepper pantry so that you can create lots of different kinds of meals and not get sick of eating the same thing. I'd also like to create some fajita flavored meals in a jar and meals in a bag and things like that. But I'm going to try this fajita blend with citrus and garlic. We love this Kinder's brand. We've been using a lot of their seasonings. They're really good. And so hopefully this one will be good. Here's another seasoning. This is a honey mustard powder. We do a lot of powdered seasonings for lots of different reasons. Shelf stability, but also, I mean, honey mustard is not going to really be something you have to worry about. Even in a liquid form, it would be shelf stable. But we wanted to do some zucchini chips and we were looking for different flavorings, some either freeze-dried or dehydrated zucchini chips. And so this is just a flavoring that I got to try for that, but I might try this for other things too, like meal in a jar recipes and things like that. These Knorr Pasticides Creamy Garlic, these are like not the healthiest thing, but they're such a simple, easy, and inexpensive item to have in your prepper pantry because they're shelf stable for a few years at least, and they're easy to cook up. You could throw extra things into these, like you could throw some canned chicken, some canned diced ham, some tuna, anything you wanted you could throw into these and make them more of a meal. You can add some canned veggies. And the only thing to note with packets like these is these are supposed to be made with some milk and margarine, which is optional, or butter. Who uses margarine anymore? But so I'm sure you could make them without the milk and they just wouldn't be quite as good, but make sure you have something. We always have plenty of instant milk powder, canned milk options, everything like that. Some shelf stable box milk. So keep in mind when you put things in your prepper pantry, what other ingredients you might need to prepare them. Back here, I've got some Great Value cream of chicken soup. Soup is one place that I have always been kind of snobby. Like I will try and use the store brand on almost any product, but if I try it and I don't like it, then I don't use it. And soup is one of those where I typically always buy the Campbell's because it just has always been better to me. But recently, I just thought I would give just the cream of chicken. Every once in a while, I'll give the store brands a chance again. So I thought I'd try some Great Value cream of chicken and see how it compares. Because I use cream of chicken in recipes, and so sometimes you can't even tell in a recipe. So this would save me a lot of money because the Campbell's has been pretty expensive lately. So if you use the Great Value cream of chicken, let me know what you think of it. And I'm going to try it and see what I think of it. Because like I mentioned earlier, we need to start saving money any way we can because things are bad and they're only getting worse. Next, I've got a whole bunch of mac and cheese. So these are the Great Value mac and cheese. These are pretty inexpensive. I got a lot of this because my kids eat a lot of this. Tell me you have teenagers without telling me you have teenagers. My kids make themselves mac and cheese all the time. I think it's a good prepper pantry item to have. Like I said, it's just like those Knorr pouches. Keep in mind you're supposed to have butter and milk for this, so make sure that you have some things to prepare them with. I have one kid who was always a Kraft snob. He refused to eat any mac and cheese other than the Kraft, and I had so much Kraft because Walmart had a pricing error once. This was years ago, but they priced the 5 packs at the same price as the single boxes. So I got 5 packs for 99 cents or 98 cents, I think. And I got so many of them at that price before they corrected the glitch. And so I didn't have to buy mac and cheese for years. I had cases of it and that was amazing. But once I started running low and I had to replace it, I didn't really want to pay full price for the Kraft. Once you've gotten a deal like that, it makes it really difficult to pay the full price for something. So I started looking around. I read an article where somebody reviewed all the different brands of mac and cheese, and the Great Value brand actually rated really, really well. I think it actually even rated better than Kraft maybe. And it was, at the time, it was only 30 something cents a box. So I started buying it. The price has gone up considerably. I want to say it's maybe 58 cents a box now, but it's still one of the least expensive options and it's still really good. So I think I got a dozen of the regular, a dozen of the thick and creamy. My kids like both of those. I got 4 of these shells and cheese, 3 cheese, just to try a different flavor because I don't think that they've tried those. But basic prepper pantry item. Doesn't need a lot of explanation. I even like macaroni and cheese like that. I am perfectly happy eating that, even though it's not the healthiest thing in the world. Now this Hershey's cocoa or any kind of cocoa, not Hershey's, is a good thing to have in your prepper pantry. This is plain baking cocoa, so this will last a very long time. and it can be used for desserts, for making hot chocolate if you have other ingredients to add with it. This is the special dark cocoa. I had bought some of this for a certain recipe, some dessert recipe. I can't even remember what it was. And I was making my chocolate banana bread the other day, and I figured I might as well use up the canister of the dark cocoa that I had before I pulled out another regular cocoa. And I had made one batch with the regular cocoa, and then I ran out. And so I made my next batch with this dark cocoa. And the difference was really noticeable, and it was really kind of incredible. They were so delicious with this dark cocoa. And so I decided I'm going to try buying it a little bit more and using it a little bit more, even though this is a lot more expensive and I can't get as good of a deal as I can on regular cocoa, because I can buy that in bulk at BJ's or Sam's or different places and get a better deal. So I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. Do I want to save the money, or do I want to have the quality of this? This was really, really good. If you've not tried it, I recommend trying it. Now here is a little vehicle organizer. I know I told you guys a few weeks ago that I got a new to me vehicle, but we kept all of our other vehicles so far. We haven't gotten rid of any of them, so I'm having to restock this new vehicle with all of my emergency supplies and convenience items and all of that stuff. So you'll see a lot of vehicle things coming in the next few weeks and months. So this is something that I had something very similar to this in my other van that I was driving, and I just have to have it. This hangs right to the left of my steering wheel. It hangs on the vent, and in the one that I have had, I just keep a small lotion, a small lip gloss, and some pens, and that's usually about it. Maybe a few packets of Splenda for if I get a coffee and it's not how I ordered it or something. But I just like having things right there handy when I'm driving. So I grabbed another pocket similar to what I had. I got another case of canning jars back here. Now these are the mainstays. So this is the Walmart store brand of canning jars. I never used to be able to find these at my Walmart. I could only find ball jars. Recently I can find these canning jars. They only have, from what I've seen, they only have the regular mouth jars. They don't seem to have wide mouth, at least not that I've found. So I've been getting the regular mouth pints and quarts, and they also have the 8-ounce jelly jar type at my Walmart. And so the prices on these are pretty good. They are better than Azure. They are better than Ball. But like I said, I can't get all the types of jars, so I'm just getting what I can. The jars seem okay. You can tell they're not the best quality compared to the other jars, but they seem like they're not that bad. But I can just kind of really tell the difference in the quality of the jars by the feel, by the look. But honestly, there are some things that I actually really like about these Walmart brand, and one of them is the fact that they have the smooth sides. They don't have any printing at all on 2 of their sides, and I really do like that because, like I said, I like to put labels on the fronts of the jars because the way that they sit on my shelves, I see the fronts and I don't really see the tops. I can't see the tops. But let me know down in the comments if you've used these Mainstays jars and what you think of them, what kind of luck you've had with them. And then the final thing I've got back here, this box that you can barely see, is a set of the canisters that I use. That is a 4-pack, and all 4 of them are this canister, the middle size rectangular canister. I love these canisters, and this is my most used size. This is the middle size, like I said, and I believe it holds 12 cups. They have the nice top that comes up. They do have a rubber gasket for a seal. I will say that they are not like 100% airtight. So this is not for long-term storage by any means. I use these containers for the things that I am in my working pantry, the things that I'm working with. If I'm storing things like extra, I either leave them in their original cans like this, or I will store them in mason jars, or I will store them in Mylar bags, something like that, or maybe 5-gallon pails that are well sealed. This is for what we're working with. Now, even though this is my most commonly used size, I usually buy the 3-pack that has 1 small, 1 medium, and 1 large. Even though I don't use the large ones very often, I do use the small ones, the 4-cup canisters, and there's no other way to buy those. You can't buy them singly. You can't buy them in any other set. So I can only get them in the 3-pack. So I almost always buy the 3-pack, but it just got to the point recently that I was all out of this size, and I still had a few of the small ones empty kicking around. So I decided to buy the 4-pack of these just to bulk up my supply of these because, like I said, this is my most commonly used size. I do love these canisters. I use my chalkboard labels on them, and we keep a lot of things in our pantry in these canisters. What things are on your list to stock up on this month? Let us know down in the comments. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a flashlight emoji down in the comments and check out this video next for some preps you should be stockpiling now. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.